Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Welcome back to the 1961 Airstream Bambi renovation. In the last video, you've seen me remove the pantry / wardrobe cabinet and the furnace that was located there. Today we got a big project coming up. I hope you stay tuned in. We're going to be doing some laminate and veneer on it, but I'm going to show you what it looks like after I rebuilt it. I pulled the gas line through the floor that we cut last time. That will no longer have a furnace in this location because we have the Truma in another location. And I sealed off and riveted a plate to cover the exhaust vent for the old furnace that was there. Is no longer there. Now we're just in the mock-up stages at this point, so I'm fitting everything inside, making sure everything fits correctly, and I'm going to remove everything from the inside of the Airstream trailer, paint it, clean it, put some vinyl flooring down on the floor, and then hand carry everything back in. Since the last video, my walnut solid 1.25" tabletop came in. Instead of manufacturing it myself, I ordered it from tablelegs.com, and it's mounted to my Lagun table. And that arm you would have seen in previous videos and how that operates. But for those new, you undo the little clamps and then you could spin the table around. There's another clamp right here. So you could bring the table to many different positions in the trailer depending on your comfort level. I ordered the tabletop. It's about 24 inches wide by about 18 inches deep, and it's large enough where I could sit right here in the corner, pull it towards me, and work on my computer. And if someone else wanted to sit in this position here, there's enough table surface there for them. Let's take a walk outside. I'll show you the cabinet, what it looks like right now. Now I'm trying to salvage as much as I possibly can from the original build, but some of the stuff was in pretty rough condition and also had some fire damage. So the pantry has the original face here, and it's just pine wood stapled together with a Luan oak glued to it, and it's got a very thin veneer on the front. I'm going to reface that with new veneer. It also had Luan shelf fronts on it, and I went with solid oak, and I pocket hole screwed them in place from the back for more secure. So instead of having the shelf recessed in the cabinet, it's going to be flush to the front. And I did that with all the shelves here. There's a couple shelves that are not in, and I'll put them in after I install. I put a vinyl veneer over the Luan board. This is like a vinyl sticker that I applied to it. For those that didn't see it last time, it has a wood grain to it, vinyl sticker. I just wanted the inside of the cabinet to be bright and smooth. I didn't want to paint it. I wanted to be able to wipe it down really easily. Then I rebuilt the bottom portion of the cabinet, because when I took the furnace out, there was only a tiny little thin support here on the bottom, and it all came apart. So I rebuilt that with oak plywood, pocket hole screwed, and glued everything. And then all the wood that's in here is oak, and I clear coated everything before I installed it. So where the furnace was this whole area right here. This is laying on its side now. It would go vertical. What I'm going to utilize it for is there's going to be a trash pail on the bottom and a laundry basket on the top. And then from here up will be food or wardrobe storage with different shelves throughout. I thought maybe I was going to be able to salvage some of the original boards. But you can see this is the one that would have faced the shower, just had a thin sticker on it. I started peeling it off and realized the wood was all split, and lots of screw holes from all sorts of modifications throughout the years. Plus they cut holes for the plumbing, and that was going to be different now. And then the inside was all stained from things spilling over the years. So if you look, the shelves were in pretty rough condition, and this is all it was. Lightweight, thin luan, wooden strip on the bottom, little notches in the back for the channel that the cabinet slides into in the wall, and it's all rough cut. See a little uneven edge, so I thought I could do a little bit better. And here's the rest of the shelves. They all just held in by staples. And then this is the side that was facing the wardrobe, and there would have been a piece of wood here for a shelf and a wardrobe rod. And then this was the inside of the pantry area on the other side. So I just used these as templates, and I rebuilt the whole entire cabinet. So the project for today is I have the shower laminate. So this is what it's gonna look like. It's got a grain texture to it. It looks like aluminum, but it's regular laminate that you'd use for countertop. It's 4 foot wide and it's 8 foot long. It cost me about $80. I only need half of it because this cabinet is only 24 inches by 75 inches. So I'm going to use contact cement to adhere it to the cabinet, but I'm going to cut it down the middle first before I install it. Just so you can see the other side of the cabinet here, I have already stained it, and I added the little shelf support for the wardrobe shelf, and it's oak, and I spray polyurethane that as well. So it's all finished already, waiting to go inside the trailer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that sheet down the middle so I can save the other half for the other part of the shower, and then I'm going to roll on the contact cement on that surface and the surface up here. Then I'm going to let it dry a bit and get tacky. Then I'm going to hand carry that whole sheet and lift it over and lay it on top. Then I'm going to press it all down nice and neat and even, no bubbles. Then I'm going to take my router with the edge bit and follow it along the edge and cut it flush with this cabinet. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thin veneer, oak veneer that I have, and I'm going to apply that to the front of the cabinet face, which I have already sanded smooth and cleaned all the varnish off of that. Then I'll take the router and route this edge, route all the holes in the front and the side. This is just a board that's loose underneath it. So I'm going to route that around the side. So let's get started. About 15 minutes playtime with this. I got to roll this sheet out and the cabinet itself. So just to speed things up, I'm going to put it into this roller pan here. I'm going to roll it on nice and even and smooth. Alright, it's taken about 6 minutes to get to the end here, so I think I have plenty of play time here. Trying to get these high spots out and make sure I cover the edges really good, because that's the part that if it's going to peel, it's going to peel at the edge. Now what I'm going to do is roll out the cabinet itself. With the cabinet, I want to be really careful not to drip any over the edge, but I do want to get it right to the edge so it doesn't peel on me. This front edge, once it's all done, I believe I'm going to be putting a piece of aluminum trim there, because that is going to be a high traffic area in and out of the bathroom, and I don't want anybody to chip the laminate. This wood really soaks this up, so I'm going to make sure I get it on really thick. And there are some, I sanded this all down, but there are some wooden splinters. You definitely want to get those out, because if that's underneath, it's going to leave a bubble in that spot. And normally people would just use this for countertops, but since this is a bathroom, it's a wet bath, and the wall of the shower is going to get wet, I believe I could do better than what Airstream did back then, where they just applied a sticker over the wood to keep it from getting soaked. You could imagine over the years the sticker cracked, allowing water behind it, which in turn caused the wood to rot in some areas. Now that it's dry to the touch, it's super tacky. That piece has the same type of glue on it. We're going to put the two together as contact cement, and it's going to bond it permanently. I have to be very mindful. I have a rough cut edge and I have a smooth edge. I want the smooth edge to the front because I'm not going to route that edge. I'm only going to route the back edge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry it from the back. I'm going to elevate it until I can get the bottom corner to where it needs to be. And I'm not going to let it touch fully until I get it exactly where I need it to go. Because it will bond once you press it down. It's tough too when it's windy out. Oh, it's already bonded. A little crooked here. Just went on a little crooked, so the grain's going to be a little bit off, but that wind took it at the very worst possible time, and it landed where it was landed, and it's not going to move now. But at least I have full coverage all the way around. So now I'm going to have to route all the edges all the way around. Oh well, stuff happens like that. With the router set at the very high setting, there's a little ball bearing that rides on the edge of the wood. I have the blade only a little bit down. I'm going to now route around the whole entire project. Now you can see the router edge here is nice and smooth all the way around. The laminate is very thin. All the way around. Came out really nice. You know, only someone with a really good eye would know that the grain is a little bit off because it's stuck at the wrong time. And you can see it's flush all the way to the front here with a very, very nice edge. Maybe a better edge than the machined edge it would have had, you know, when they manufactured this laminate. It's going to clean up this little tip a little bit better because I know that's going to chip when I put it in. I'm going to blow it off with the air gun, and then I'm going to put and apply the front veneer on. I have an ARB compressor in the adventure van. It's good for nail guns, pumping up tires on the van, but also cleaning off my mountain bike when I'm done. Could also use it for projects like this instead of lugging around the big air compressor down in the workshop. Alright, with the top surface all clean and smooth, you want to make sure there's no imperfections in the wood because it will show through on this veneer. It's probably a 32nd of an inch. It's got this 3M backing to it. Now they do make veneer that you could apply the same way we applied the laminate, but I found this relatively easy to work with, and you do have some time to make adjustments unlike the other material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the top and the front as best as I can. Hopefully the wind doesn't take it this time. And you want to make sure you're perfectly square all the way down. And this you can keep readjusting as you go. So I want the top to line up perfectly with the ceiling, and the front to line up all the way down frame. And you can tell when you're a little bit off and it's not, you know, perfectly square because it will bubble. Now what I'm going to do is press down evenly and make sure it's adhered properly. You don't want to press too hard on the holes where the doors are for the cabinets, but I can feel the supports in the middle. Next, I'm going to cut with a little bit of excess with a utility knife. Just got to be really careful. You can split it in the spot, you know, that you wouldn't really want to. I'm going to save this piece. I could use it for another project one day. Next I'm going to take my sander with 320 grit and lightly sand it, but I'm going to push down to help adhere the adhesive to the cabinet and smooth out the veneer. We have to now drill a hole in the voids between the different cabinets so we can route it out. So I'm going to drill a hole right in the middle. Here. 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 There. Now I'm going to take my router with the same exact bit, the same exact depth, and route out the holes. Now that it's all sanded nice and smooth, I could make sure all the edges are fully adhered, and then I'm going to dry fit the install. And I'm not too worried about this seam here. There's going to be another frame that butts up against it, and there'll be a transition piece of trim that goes vertical there. You can see just this one little area just needs to be clamped down a little bit better. The router does a great job cutting it all the way around. A couple little scuffs. You know, the adhesive starts to build up on the ball bearing and it gets stuck. That's what scuffed the edge, but this is going to have aluminum trim that covers it. You always have to be careful carrying it in, because that's when you're going to chip the edge or scratch something else in the trailer. Okay, so it's designed where you'd push it into the track in the wall from the bottom first. So I'm going to get the left and the right set in that order. Okay. It's definitely a tight fit. It's got to fit in a little tiny groove. All the way from the top and bottom. I think I got it. Let's take a look. You can see how it fits to the top. Once the cabinet's all painted and I reinstall this, I'll screw this in. You get your shelves. And then these are already pre-made. It's got the notch cut out in the back. So when you put it in and drop it in place, it fits right around those aluminum grooves in the back, and then I'll nail that in place. Sits up like that. Then I have this bottom plate. Once the cabinet screwed into the floor using the little cleats that are there, this will go like that. Okay, just got to make sure everything's nice and square. And then this go in. Just like that. Everything else will be squared off. And I can take my laundry basket, put that in like that. This shelf, I think I'm just going to nail it down. I don't need it to lift to get the laundry basket. But if you guys have thoughts about that, let me know, because I will consider. And then the trash pail goes right here. So now you would open up a door on the bottom. You could put your laundry in there, and you could put your trash in there. And then above it you could have clothes or food. And then this used to just be one big door for the top. I think I'm going to separate it with two separate doors. One door for the top two, and another door for the bottom two. And then in the back here is now laminate that's waterproof, so when you're in the wet bath and the wall gets wet, you don't have to worry about it absorbing. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I'd love it. And we'll see you soon.